4th of September 2021. Thank you so much for joining us for the latest news updates in the country at a time that pressure is mounting on political leaders to act on the cost of living as the church forces its way into the country's political future. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the future of the country through the lens of the church. Welcome, I'm Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. The country now needs prayers more than ever before. This is according to the Interdenominational Intercessors for Kenya that has raised concern over the tense political atmosphere as the country heads to the general election in just less than 11 months. The group becomes the latest religious group in the country to call for the reunion of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto for the peace and stability of the country. Addressing the press, the group led by Eda Adoyo said they're worried by the state of affairs and made various recommendations to the government, as Grace Wangoi reports.
The current state of the nation is currently characterized by heightened politics and a Kenyan population that is frustrated at the current economic times, compounded by the damaging effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. With 11 months to the general election, several quarters, mostly religious groups, including Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, Evangelical Alliance of Kenya EAK, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, among other religious organizations, have come out to urge top leaders to train their focus on the reconciliation of the country. The Interdenominational Intercessors for Kenya also added their voice to the current situation, saying there is an urgent need for reconciliation, especially between the president and his deputy.
We wish to express our concern about the state of our country's politics with less than 11 months to the August 2022 general election. In particular, we are disturbed by the frequent doubts expressed by various commentators on the possibility of a postponement of the general election. We regret that the IEBC quorum issues has taken this long to resolve and pray that the new commissioners will quickly learn on the job to ensure that the election is not only held on schedule, but that it is credible and transparent.
The political scene has in recent days been marred by open exchange of words, incitement by political leaders. In their popularization tours, politicians have openly torn on their opponents, with emotions running high across the country as verbal altercations threaten the peace of the country. Just recently, top leaders including President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto were caught in exchange battles, where President Uhuru Kenyatta dared his deputy to resign, where Ruto in retaliation vowed not to retreat. The Interdenominational Intercessors for Kenya, addressing this matter, said the strained relationship between the two leaders was a threat to smooth functioning of the government.
It is our view that the strained relations are a threat to the smooth functioning of the government for the remainder of the term. Further, the growing political rhetoric arising from these differences does not augur well for peace and tranquility needed at this critical time of political transition.
The religious group has at the same time called on the suspension of various constitutional amendment bills on the floor of the House.
We wish to commend Your Excellency for pledging to respect the recent verdict of the Court of Appeal on the Building Bridges Initiative. We are aware of the importance Your Excellency attached to this process as the political solution for the challenges of unequal representation and exclusion. However, given the division that arose from the process and the little time left before the next general elections, we urge that any changes to the Constitution be now suspended until after the said elections.
Grace Wangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Moving on, the National Parents Association, NPA, says it will defend the competency-based curriculum CBC that has been challenged in court by LSK President Nelson Harvey. Speaking at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, during an engagement with stakeholders on the CBC, members said they'll join the case and defend the curriculum. They also urged parents to extend their full support to the government as far as the CBC program is concerned. The statement comes amidst a flurry of criticism from Kenyans on social media in recent weeks over the high cost of the curriculum.
I'll give you an example of a school in Bungoma, which has 510 learners, and they have almost 35 classrooms. So if you subdivide, it will take in only 15. So we have an extra 23 classrooms in that school, that particular school. That shows that out there are many schools who have spaces. So the preparedness is already there because we have noted that there are schools with extra classes. May I inform you for sure that during our deliberation, we made a short list of what parents are asked to do during the home fund or homework. Parents are told, go and buy this, go and Google this, go and download this. But we are told today that that is not necessary. That is not the spirit of CBC. It's against the spirit of CBC. The spirit of CBC is use local available resources. So these stories we are getting are the social media stories. So we will not talk about the court case now. We just state our stand that we will join the case and make our values and our intention of accepting CBC with its full benefits of giving our learners talent and nurturing our talents in our children and creating opportunities for self-employment. We don't say CBC is 100%. We know there are teaching problems in every curriculum. Even 844, we had teaching problems. But teaching problems will not take us back to 844. We will tackle them as we go.
Away from that, the United Green Movement, UGM, now wants the government to revise the procurement scheme on fuel to ensure the free on-board prices are lower in order to lower fuel prices. The political party has released a proposal on 5 possible policy approaches to reducing fuel prices in the country, which it intends to present to Parliament. This comes days after the energy regulator, EPRA, increased fuel prices further in its latest review, sparking public uproar. This comes as Cabinet Secretaries for Petroleum and Energy are expected before the Senate tomorrow, Tuesday, over elimination of the fuel subsidy that saw pump prices hit historic high. Dickens Luvanda has more.
The United Green Movement UGM party now plans to present to both houses of parliament proposals on 5 policy ways of ridding pump prices in the country.
Higher and increasing oil prices can have a wide range of adverse economic impacts, ranging from a reduction in economic growth.
The government removed the subsidies of 7 shillings and 10 cents on petrol, 9 shillings and 90 cents on diesel, and 11 shillings and 36 cents on kerosene that applied to the prices of fuel sold in the month of September 14, therefore increasing the price of petrol by 7 shillings and 58 cents a litre in Nairobi to 134 shillings and 72 cents, while diesel jumped by 7 shillings and 94 cents to 115 and 6 cents a litre, the highest in Kenya's history.
We are first of all making suggestions to the Ministry of Energy. We are telling them it is possible to do this differently. We do not want to look like we want to benefit or profit their lack of knowledge or their inacquiescence in a manner that gives us political mileage. We are concerned about the welfare of the citizens of Kenya.
According to the UGM party, higher oil prices impact on the prices of goods. The former Ndiwa Member of Parliament Agostino Neto-led party says it will present to both Parliament and IPRA proposals that will help the country move forward and reduce the burden that Mwananchi is feeling in the tough economic times.
If you go to the presence of Parliament today, they will be asking you, did we actually pass this VAT 2018? I mean, the VAT 2020? Or did we actually pass this Finance Amendment Act of 2018? So half of them don't understand what they passed. I've been a parliamentarian and I know how it works. They can cushion Kenyans in other ways, explore options of the free on board of the cost insurance freight, so that these policy proposals can be given considerations in a manner that we do not have to have instability of oil prices year in, year out. So yes, in a nutshell, yes, we will deliver these policy proposals as a memorandum both to the House of Parliament and also to the committee, Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority, because we know the next 2 weeks they will be on the hot seat. But they'll be in the hot seat, whereas I think someone has just refused to do his background research.
On Tuesday, September 21st, Energy Cabinet Secretary Charles Ketera and his petroleum counterpart John Munoz are expected to appear before the Senate to shed light on the high petroleum prices.
If you increase the price of oil by almost 8 or 7 and above, that's very high per liter. How many people can afford that?
Mr. Speaker, Kenyans out there ought to know, and I want to reiterate, that the Senate does not participate in passing taxes.
I want to seek your indulgence, honorable senators. This is a thorny matter, but I want to give this direction, that the Committee on Energy will spearhead invitation of the ministry and all the other stakeholders, but order. They will summon the minister on Tuesday, and the whole House is invited to be here, and the meeting must be held here on Tuesday.
Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has urged members of Parliament to stop the heated public discussion on fuel prices and instead table a motion in Parliament. Speaking at the St. Michael Catholic Church, Kiangungi in Runyenjes, Embu County, the Speaker said he will act swiftly to approve any motion that seeks to ensure stability and reduction of fuel prices in the country. The Speaker has at the same time faulted on Kenya leaders for failure to nurture a political party to unite the region.
Kenya is bleeding. The fuel prices have reached levels we have never witnessed before. I want to remind President Uhuru, when he was becoming president of Kenya, a liter of fuel was 65 shillings. Today, it is 135 shillings. Surely, it is not affordable anymore. We are asking that we go back to the basics. Tuache kuongea mambo ya bia, tuingie bunge tuone vile tutasaidia mwananchi. Ama ati hiyo bei ya mafuta iweze kuteremka.
Mimi nataka kuwauliza wabunge, tukirudi Jumanne, leteni mswada, nita-approve to reduce taxation on fuel. Exactly. I will approve it. Kwa sababu hawa mwachagua kuwakilisha nyinyi, si ni kweli? Na wabunge wengine. Sasa nataka kuuliza wabunge, tafadhalini waacha kuzungumzia huku sasa kwa mikutano Jumanne. Pale kwa chemba. Tuache sasa, kwa sababu sasa wabunge hawezi kuja kuulia kama mwananchi pia analia. Tutazungumza na kila mmoja ambaye ni mtu wa nia nzuri kwa Wakenya. Lakini muhimu sana integrity ya viongozi. Wawe ni watu wanaojali maslahi ya mwananchi. Mtu anajua ukipewa nyadhifa yoyote ya serikali ni ya kutumikia wananchi, sio duka umefunguliwa.
All right. On that note, let me now bring in our guest tonight, and we'll be talking about, of course, church and politics and the participation of women in politics. And our guest tonight is Ma'am Ada Adoyo, who is the chair of the Christian Women of Kenya, that is CAK. Welcome to the show, Ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, today you've released what we will refer probably to as an open letter to the president, of course, expressing concern over many issues and also commending the president on specific areas of governance. Do you think that this letter at this time will have an impact on probably the politics of the country?
We believe so, and that is why so many of us were gathered here at the Serena Hotel to make our voice, to add our voice to the other voices that have been met. I think it's not easy to get to State House, and this method is broadcast enough, it's loud enough, it's going to reach other people, so that the nation knows that there's care, there's some activity going on, and not just quiet. So I think it's effective. It may not be quite the best. I think face-to-face would be the best. But in another sense, it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. Now, pressure has been mounting on the president to reconcile with his deputy, with just probably 11 or under 11 months to the election. And of course, we've seen religious leaders that have come out to speak on this and its effects on the economy. Do you think it's time the president reconciles with his deputy? And do you think this will eventually happen, or maybe happen at the last minute?
As to whether it will happen, that we may not be able to quite determine. Mm-hmm. But some effort has to be put to encourage the president to reconcile with his deputy. And we believe that the way of peace is the better way, is the best way, not even the better, but the best way. Because peace has a way of exuberating people or even the different groups or camps or parties to work and move forward. But when there's division, it's like it creates fear, it creates uncertainty, and already we are plagued with COVID-19, and that's good. I mean, it's bad enough. You don't want to add on something. So it's our prayer as the interdenominational prayer movement. It's our prayer that there will be peace, there will be reconciliation. Mm-hmm. And in any case, the Christian faith is based on reconciliation of one and all.
What do you think will it take for the president to restore his political relationship with DP Ruto? Because we've continued to witness political rhetorics that don't actually signal an end to the alleged infights. You as intercessors tried to seek audience to the president to address some of the issues you've raised today during the presser.
You know, a journey begins with a step, first step. And so this letter is a beginning of our desire to get audience with the president, or out of this letter we may be asked to explain some more. And the thing is, peace is a must. Reconciliation is a must. And that's why actually, let me put it this way, that's why we are intercessors. Meaning we realize that from the physical, from the natural, it doesn't seem to be like it can work, but there is another power that we are trying to engage. I know some of you will think, what does that mean? But there's another power that we are engaging and asking that somehow things can be orchestrated in such a manner that there is reconciliation, there is peace, there is understanding, and a forward move. Mm-hmm. I think I would like to say, sorry to cut you, but I would like to say also that I just wish that all of us as Kenyans, we would learn to, you talk about yourself. Don't stand up there and begin telling me how bad so-and-so is and how bad. I mean, that is not your business, or even your docket, or even, you really don't have the facts to speak that way. But if you stand and you're speaking about yourself, this is who I am, this is what I promise, this is what I'll do, that in itself is productive. But when you stand to just castigate and pull down and the negative and the robbing, and I just find it, I'm sorry to say, but I find it childish.
Mm-hmm. Now, on that note, as politicians continue to seek opportunities to sell their agenda, especially during this season, that political gatherings have been banned. What's your take on the ban of politics in churches, and what's the role? What role is the church supposed to play in the politics of the country?
It's actually the ban for politics in church has been put in effect simply because it's been abused. I even hate to talk about this, but since I'm being asked, I think the politicians will get to a place, get into a church, and just talk about themselves or what, telling you what you already know they will not fulfill. But as soon as they finish, they leave the church. Even it can be in the middle of the service. It's not all of them, but that seems to be the trend, whether it's at a funeral, whether it is in a church, whether it's, there's just that lack of courtesy and lack of respect for even the place. And so for me, I would say that the ban into the politics from the church, I think it's the right thing to do. And it's better we honor the house of the Lord. Jesus was very, that is coming to my mind. Jesus was very specific. Some people are deciding to do business in the church, sell this and do this, exchange money so as to give offering. He said that's nonsense. This place is a place of prayer. If you want to do business, do it elsewhere and then bring. If you don't do that, then get lost with your money. He was very cross. And from that point of view, I think the church is right in saying, do your business out there, come here to pray. And then you asked what the church, the role of the church. If you as a politician, an aspirant, you have, you have a desire and you are a member of this church. You are not coming to introduce yourself in this season. You are a member and you go to the pastor, you go to the priest and you say, please, this is my desire during the week. And you explain what. Then during the service, for example, say our deacon so-and-so or our member so-and-so came to me asking, and there's some order, there's some prioritization. But when you just say on a Sunday morning, they will see me and then I'll go and then I'll ask if I can, I think it's an abuse of God's house.
So how far do you think the church should go in determining political leaders and probably dictating the issues of the country? Does it only take prayer, now that you say that this is the house of prayer?
No, it doesn't take prayer only, but it's where have you been all this time? If you're coming into this church just because you are passing by and you saw a church over there and you want to come to say, what is your church? Because that is the body. Those are the witnesses that should float you, should front you, should say, this man, we know him all along, his testimony is this, his lifestyle is this, and we have seen what he has done, 1, 2, 3, and so we would like to support. The church itself will just come to your aid because you are all along, you've been part, they have seen, you have what they call a track record. But this, that just arise and they are here in this church, here in that church, promising vain there, promising vain there. I think that's just taking advantage of the church.
As we talk about church taking part in leadership, let's talk about women in leadership. Because we've seen women in leadership play a very big role as peacemakers. What would be your call probably to women in positions of leadership, having in mind that it's women who also bear the greatest burden in issues like when political violence occurs?
I think in the recent past for Kenya, I would say, in the recent past, where recent is like maybe the past 10 years or so, I call that recent in terms of the whole history of the nation of Kenya since independence. I would say that ladies have come up and shall I say we have come up and have taken office and there is productivity and output and but I would say that we need to go step by step so that it's not too rushed, so that before you know it, two-thirds or three-quarters of an office is manned by ladies, because I find like men recoil very easily. I find men, I repeat, men recoil easily when they see like, I'm not needed here, I'm not wanted. And that's what happens even in homes. If you have a strong, I hope I'm not raising controversial matters here for somebody to dismiss me, but I find like if there is a wife who is not recognizing or appreciating her husband, you just find the man has disappeared. Why is he not coming home? You find he says, I don't belong. And you find he has this, something else that's not right, or he's somewhere where he should not be. So I would say that I think let's mature. Let's do it in a mature and systematic way. I don't know what I mean by systematic, but at least let it not just be a flood of now women in that office. It may affect us negatively. I think we have to mature, the word I would like to use.
Okay. Do you feel like maybe it's time that this country has a woman president? Is this something that is possible?
By and by, yes. By and by, but not yet. I would say not yet, and I hope I'm not touching a raw nerve on any lady who is aspiring to be president or president. Yeah, but I would say let's again introduce that idea slowly. In was it in 2017 or no, I think it's 2013 or way back, when, there was a lady aspirant of the presidential office. And of course, she did not, of course, meaning we know that she did not make it. But another time and another there's a way in which people say, well, let's give it to them. Let's work together in this way. But it has to be gradual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we still have the male ego there that we have to respect and acknowledge. And by there will be that understanding and agreeing and therefore adopting.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Now let's talk about national prayer days. We've seen in the country national prayer days happening over a number of years now, and we've seen political leaders attend, unite, and speak very promising words. But it seems like this will always remain national events. Do you feel like these national prayer days are making impact, or do you feel like we need to have a different approach to it?
Yeah, unfortunately, anything that is political is always, can I say always, treated with suspicion. Like, is it just so as to look good? Is it just so the country will be known, oh, it's Christian? But the genuineness of the same is what I'm not able to really confirm and say, yes, it's genuine. First of all, let me say, prayer, you can never over-pray. You can never really pray amiss as such. So prayer is needed. My call would be, can we then carry this prayer into our offices? So it's not just what you have called, Tony, you have called it an event, so that it's not an event, it's a lifestyle. So we are just telling the world that this is what we do in the August House. We are doing it now publicly for the world to see, but in the August House, we do things in a civil manner, in a godly manner, and we even pray in our offices so that it's a real thing. I think it's so sad that it's like the Christian faith is one that you just wear on Sunday and then you remove on Monday. It's so unfortunate because the Christian faith, the way I've understood it, is a lifestyle. It's the way you think, is the way when you see people, when you hear people, you are not dismissing them because they belong to that, or they are not this, or they don't have this. It's accepting people and helping people to be better than what they are, rather than just using it as a way of passing by. So I look a Christian, so I look a good man. Yeah. And yet, you are unfaithful to your wife, or you are unfaithful to your husband,
So how do we engage moving forward? And probably this is my last question. How do we engage in moving forward towards creating a cohesive society and probably creating peace in the country? How should we basically live with one another as Kenyans?
In fact, Tony, that movement where I'm the chair of Christian Women of Kenya, the vision of that of this movement is that we may have a peaceable coexistence with one another. And, it is doable. It is doable. I feel so sad. My dear viewers, when I see a family or a group or people, they are in Nairobi, the capital city, a modern cosmopolitan city. And you find they have just carried a little Luya village and they brought it here. They have no idea if there is another tribe or whether there is another person of a different, they are just in their own cocoon. I just feel, what? Then why didn't you stay in the village? Why didn't you go back to the village? Because that's where the setting is. I just wish, and this is why the Christian Women of Kenya, what we are pushing, let me call it that way. This is why we say we can live together coexist together in a peaceable manner by me knowing just a little bit about you, or how do you behave in this way and why, so that there's friendship. Even there are some churches, I'm sorry to say, there are some churches that are so, what is the word I can use? they are so one tribe. You're wondering, really? Really? And you've been in Nairobi this long and it's just a church for this ethnic group? It's unfortunate. So way forward is this, let there be this awareness. I don't know, I don't want to blow the Christian women of Kenya, but we have examples, pockets of examples of people who you go there and you see the face of Kenya. You go in a home and you see the face of Kenya. You go in a business and you see the face of Kenya. And I just find, Tony, you will excuse me, and even you viewers, you will excuse me, but I just shrink with sadness in my heart when I go to a place and everything is it just speaks of this particular group. And yet, the statistics tell us in Kenya we have over 40 tribes. You have, you are a house girl, you are a driver, you are messenger, you are secretary, you are assistant. And I'm thinking, no, please, let's learn what Kenya is. Fortunately for me, and I thank God for this, I have had the honor and the privilege to travel Kenya far and wide. Last weekend, Saturday, what was it? It was Saturday the 18th. I was in Baringo. Beautiful people there, all the way in Baringo. Beautiful people. They gave us food and, just nice people, rich people, honey and the rest we came carrying. And I look and say, look, now if I didn't have this, this eyes of mine open to just possess Kenya, I would be there thinking like, who wants to go that side of the Wakale over there? No, please. These are people. They are beautiful people. Another time I was in Isiolo. The other time, not too long ago, I was in Isiolo. Beautiful people there with beautiful reception. So sometimes I think it's the attitude. If you have an attitude of feeling these are bad people, or these are enemies, or these are thieves, or these are, robbers, if that's what is your mind, your eyes will speak the same.
Thank you.
But when you go to a place and you find, you just discover rich, not materially, but rich value-wise, life-wise. And I have just come to love Kenya. I have come to love Kenya. Tony, I can go to any place in this country and I will not be scared. I can go to Pokot, I can go to Bomet, I can go wherever and I will be at home. I thank God for that, opening my eyes, how we can go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. That's words of wisdom from Mama Ada Adoyo, who is the chair, Christian Women of Kenya, CAK, just talking to us tonight on the peace of the country, leadership, and of course the political environment tonight. Thank you so much, Mama Ada Adoyo, for making time for us on Newswatch. Thank you. Let's now move on with our broadcast. We want to get into a bit of politics. A section of cultural and political leaders from Luo Nyanza have reassured the Mount Kenya region that their interests will be taken care of should they support ODM leader Raila Odinga's 2022 presidential bid. Speaking over the weekend during the coronation of the national patron of the Kikuyu Council of Elders, Kinyua Wamwangi, the leaders said they were not just focusing on the political interests, but also the region's economic interests.
Sisi tumekuja extend a hand of friendship. Na hii hand of friendship, sisi mara mbili tumesema, Raila alisema Kenyatta, without Kenyatta, no freedom Kenya. And Raila akasema Kibaki tosha. Sasa tumekuja kuomba nyinyi pia wa Kikuyu, nyinyi pia mrudishe mkono.
What now remains is how to achieve the gains that could have been gained through the BBI. It is up to you to imagine that of all these people who want seats, who can best protect and provide those gains that are in danger of being lost.
Unakumbuka wakati mliniuliza na mheshimiwa Prime Minister tulete mzee Kibaki pale atembee kwa kaburi la Jaramogi. Kulikuwa na shida kubwa sana. Orengo alikuwa ananiuliza kila wakati, na kweli mtakuja kuona kango ka Jaramogi. Nikamwambia tutakuja, sisi ni marafiki, sisi ni jamii mbili ambao tuko marafiki sana. Na kweli Mheshimiwa Oburu ako hapa, tulienda hapo, tukasherehekea hapo. Jamii zetu zikaanza kuendelea mbele. Sasa handshake imekuja, tuendelee kushikanisha nchi yetu na tuunganishe jamii zetu zote katika taifa letu.
A section of border operators in Narok Town have vowed to promote peace and unity in the country while barring politicians from using them to incite or propagate violence. Speaking at the Narok Town Chief's office on Sunday, the operators led by their chairman, Gideon Lemayan, promised to keep away from political leaders who are hell-bent on disrupting peace during electioneering season. The operators have also called on the government to reduce fuel prices that is negatively impacting the sector.
Kuna watu wanataka kuja kutuchochea kama wana bodaboda ya kwamba wanavurugwa. Hakuna mtu hata mmoja amefurushwa, na tukiwa na shida kama wana bodaboda, tuko na viongozi wetu ambao tutaenda kuwaeleza kabla nyinyi wenyewe hatujawaambia. Wengi wetu wana bodaboda wako na madeni ya pikipiki, bado wako na madeni ya kulipa hata masimu, na ndio hiyo mafuta pia imepanda, imekuwa hali ya juu. Tungeomba serikali watupunguzie ili sisi pia tueneze uchumi ya hii Kenya.
Nimeongea na chairman na kikundi yake. Wanasema hakuna mtu amekataza kufanya kazi, lakini uje uwe registered vizuri na uonyeshe mahali ya kubebea ili ile amani iendelee kuweko. Na mimi nawahakikishia hivi, hakuna mtu atasongeshwa hata inch kutoka mahali ambapo anafanyia biashara yake. Awe Muhindi, awe Mbaluya, awe Mturkana, kila mtu ana haki hapa town. Na muendelee kuweka ile amani ambayo mumeweka, kwa sababu tunafurahia sisi kama serikali sana.
Now, Eastern Regional Commissioner Isaiah Nakoro has launched a 30-day Rapid Results Initiative RRI campaign to rid the region of illicit liquor, hard drugs and contraband goods. The multi-pronged campaign, according to him, will be spearheaded by security teams in the whole region in conjunction with other key agencies such as the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, KEBS and NACADA. The teams will go to all the 69 sub-counties in the region, inspecting bars and business premises with a view of ridding the area of the contraband goods menace. The crackdown is also aimed at protecting legitimate business operators from unfair competition by unscrupulous traders.
Wale ambao wanauza pombe wameruhusiwa kuuza pombe na wasingatii masaa ambayo yamewekwa. Wanajua pia wanakosea na watakabiliwa, na hata sasa wanaendelea kukabiliwa. Wengi wameshikwa, wamepelekwa kotini kwa sababu hao ni ukaidi tu, wanaweka ukaidi ambao hauruhusiwi. Kuna wale ambao wanafanya biashara halali na wanapoteza kwa njia moja ama nyingine. Ikiwa watu tutaruhusu wale ambao hawafuati utaratibu wa sheria na waanzisha biashara haramu, wana pia undermine wale ambao wanafanya biashara haramu halali. Kwa hivyo ndio tunataka kuprotect pia wale ambao tunaita legitimate businessmen. Lazima wawe protected kutokana na wale ambao wanania ama mazoea ya kufanya biashara haramu. There is a multi-agency team ambayo itasunguka, watakakua baa sote. Na kitu kimoja pia tumeambiwa ni kwamba hasa hapa tuko na baa nyingi karibu zinashinda shule. Kwa hivyo hizo pia tutajaribu kuangalia, kwa sababu hatutaki kuwa na nchi ambaye inatengeneza watu walevi. Tunataka pia kuangalia hiyo, na tumekuwa na county government, mwakilishi wa governor yuko hapa, na tumesema hiyo ni lazima waangalia haya mambo, tuende tu review kama kuna mali wamekosea tuweze kutengeneza iwe sawa, kwa sababu hatutakubali tuwe na nchi ambayo watu ni walevi kuliko wale ambao wanajihusisha na mambo ya elimu.
On that note, let's take a short break on Newswatch. We still have more lined up for you. To stay with us.
Ngarisha na Optiven. Guess what?
It's just about the right time to build your dream home. At the Garden of Joy by Optiven. It comes with Maram roads, solar street lights, water piping along the mains, children play area, and a jogging track. Get your value-added plot at only 1.495 million Kenyan shillings cash with flexible installment options for up to 12 months. Deposit 995,000 Kenya shillings and get a free washing machine for your home. Ngarisha na Optiven. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back to Newswatch. 4 police officers and a civilian charged with the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and driver Joseph Mururi in 2016 have now been put on defense after the High Court ruled that the 5 have a case to answer. The accused have been placed on their defense after the prosecution last week formally closed its case after calling a total of 46 witnesses. The 3 were reportedly abducted on June 23, 2016, shortly after leaving Mavoko Law Courts at the river where they were pursuing a court case. Dole Muregi has this report.
The murder of International Justice Mission lawyer Willie Kimani in 2016, together with his client Josephat Mwenda and a taxi driver Joseph Muiruri, sparked outrage in the legal fraternity. The High Court on Monday placed 4 suspects on the defense for the murder of the 3, an offense committed on June 23, 2016. Lady Justice Jessie Lesit in her ruling said she was convinced by the prosecution case that police officers Fredly Liliman, Stephen Cheburet, Sylvia Wanjiku, Leonard Mwangi, and civilian Peter Ngugi have a case to answer in the murder of the 3.
And any evidentiary material should be availed to the ODPP and the advocates for the victims within 3 days of today. I've said the counsel for the 5th accused to avail his witnesses' report and the statement of the 5th accused, that is the one he wishes to rely on, by Monday 27th and Wednesday 29th September respectively.
The prosecution put a strong case on how the 5 abducted Willie, Josephat, and Joseph on June 23, 2016, after the trio left Mavoko Law Court, where they had attended a case hearing involving one of the accused. After a week-long tedious search, their bodies were discovered in River Athi in Oldonyo Sabuk in Machakos County. The trial began in 2016 and the prosecution closed its case last week after calling 46 witnesses. Among those who were called to give evidence include police officers, Willie's former colleagues, witnesses who discovered bodies floating at the river, a boda rider who the prosecution said was the last person Willie talked to and who picked a distress note allegedly written by the lawyer on a tissue paper.
His body was put in a sack and then put in the boot of the Toyota NZE.
The prosecution also cited a confession statement given by the 5th accused, Peter Ngugi, allegedly detailed how a scheme to kill the 3 was hatched and executed. The prosecution, in its bid to prove its case against the accused, also used technology, including cell site analysis, to map geographical area, DNA sampling, and phone call data.
To facilitate the defense, I've ordered for the witness summons for all the witnesses indicated by their counsels, which is on record.
Shamala said 5 years is a long time for a case to reach this stage and urged actors in the public justice system to work together to reduce the time taken in determining case in court. Lawyer Cliff Ombeta, representing the first accused, said that he want the court to issue summons to OCS Makindu and OCS Mlalongo to provide the OB for the June 24, 2016. The defense hearing will commence on Monday next week. Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Meanwhile, the Hustler Nation representatives from Ukambani believe that the provision of water is key for their survival in the bottom-up economic approach. Delegates attending a 2-day Southeastern Region Economic Forum in the company of Deputy President William Ruto in Oloitoktok, Kajiado South constituency, said scarcity of water had affected the area's economic potential. The DP, who spoke to the representatives, drummed up support for his economic model, saying it's pro-poor and will consider empowering ordinary citizens through finances and provision of social services like water, health, and education.
I am very happy that these business leaders and other stakeholders, including political actors, have made a huge contribution to what will now be the framework of engagement between my office and the people of South Eastern. We have developed a broad framework that is going to be the basis upon which people from different walks of life in Southeastern will engage over the next 1 month. We're going to have meetings in different places, culminating in one meeting in Makueni, one meeting in Kitui, and another meeting in Machakos, where using the bottom-up approach, we will consolidate the views, the priorities, the intentions, and the wishes of millions of Kenyans in this part of our country. I am very proud that a lot of resources have been deployed by these leaders to put this formation together. Very many volunteers, very many people have made contributions, both in terms of ideas, in terms of resources, and many people from across the world have participated in this process because we all realize that it is the all-important conversation around the economy that is going to transform our nation.
Now, a 46-year-old man of Kirigwini village of Githunguri area, Kandara constituency, is appealing to well-wishers, government and non-governmental organizations to help him acquire an artificial leg. Stephen Dichu Shege has narrated how he lost his right leg after amputation following a wound he suffered for 26 years. Dichu, who's been through ups and downs, says his wife left him after seeing the pain he was going through. Despite all this, Shege has found joy in doing manual jobs for survival.
Tuko na mlemavu mmoja anaitwa Disho, tunataka tu asaidiwe na wale wanasaidiana walemavu, asaidiwe na mguu aweze kutembea na miguu yake. Tena kwa nyumba yake anakaa peke yake. Tungetaka tu asaidiwe, ajengewe kanyumba kasuri, tena aigizwe stima, aweze kuona mwangaza mzuri akiwa kwa nyumba. Sisi kwa hii kijiji yetu tunampea anafanyaga kazi nyingi sana huku, anatibia watu wa masamba, tena anapanda viazi, anavuta mahindi kwa wenyewe, anapewa tu kibarua.
Na vyenye alikuwa anasumbuka, yeye analima kama amekaa chini. Akaomba kama anaweza pata watu wa kumsaidia awekwe mguu. Alikuwa amekatwa mguu kama miaka 2 iliisha, na akaomba awekwe hiyo mguu moja ndio aweze kusimama na kuendelea kujisaidia na kujifanyia kazi yake bila kuomba. Geuliza watu wenye wako kwa vyeo wenye tulichagua, tuko na gavana wetu Mwangi wa Iria, tuko na women representative wa Murang'a ambaye ni Maito Sabina Chege. Tungewaomba pamoja na wenye wanasimama including akina Jamrek, wote wakuja wamsaidie na apate hiyo vitu, hiyo apate mguu.
Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has instructed authorities in Mutonyi village in Kakamega to ensure all children that were displaced after their houses were torched are identified and taken back to school soonest. The governor who visited the affected families condemned the incident, saying it's wrong for villagers to take the law into their hands over disputes. The county government has distributed foodstuffs and money to the affected families.
Tuna watoto katika hii maboma. Nimeambiwa watoto wengine walitoroka kutoka kwa shule. Na watoto wanataka wakule. Hao watoto ndio mimi nimesema leo hao kwa sababu hana hatia niwaletee chakula kidogo wakule. Lakini mimi nilikuja kwa nia mzuri. Kuwasaidia wale watoto. Nataka hao watoto ambao wamekimbia kama hawajarudi warudi shule. Wakuje waendelee na masomo yao. Na wale wako wazee waongee nao kwa sababu masomo ndio maisha yao. Kama wasomi kwa sababu ya msoso ya sisi, hiyo itakuwa na taabu kubwa.
To some good news now, a multi-agency team comprising the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, Kenya Forest Service, KFS, Rangers, and Community Scouts have rescued a baby elephant or a calf that got stuck in a water trough in Arabuko Sokoke Forest in Kilifi County. The calf had gone with its mother and other elephants to drink water when it slipped into the only permanent water trough that is near the swamp and got stuck. Luckily, a community member living adjacent to the forest saw the incident and alerted KWS officials, who responded swiftly and managed to rescue the calf safely and reunited it with its mother.
We received the report at around 6 in the morning, and by 7:30 we were able to rescue the baby elephant safely, and we reunited the baby elephant with her mother. And we checked the health of the baby elephant. She was very healthy. She could run to where the mother was. Due to the collaboration which we have and the multi-agency relationship which is strong at Arabuko, we were able to mobilize the different teams together. During this time, it's a challenge at Arabuko because it's dry. Water is not available in the forest. The water points which we have in the forest are dry. So currently we receive big numbers of elephants coming for water at this water point, which is also a challenge which we are on the process of addressing so that we can get an alternative water point within the forest to serve the elephants. Currently, we also get elephants coming in up to the fence line of Arabuko because of the drought which we are currently facing. So we urge the public that whenever they see elephants within their residential areas, to report to the nearest KWS office so that we can respond early enough to save the community from injuries or death, and also to save our wildlife.
All right, let's take another short break on Newswatch. When we come back, we'll be looking at what is happening in business and sports.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Let's continue with business news. The Vipingo Development, a subsidiary of Santam Real Estate, has commenced water production from its 3 million litre daily desalination plant, the first of its kind in the region. The plant has a capacity to supply over 3,000 households with clean water in the Vipingo Development, as well as surrounding areas. Through desalination, the 400 million shilling processing plant will purify water from the Indian Ocean and make sure it's safe for drinking and other uses. The coastal region has an acute water shortage with a demand over 186,000 cubic meters per day against a supply of 42,000 cubic meters per day. The Konza Technopolis Development Authority, KOTDA, has embarked on the implementation of its second strategic plan aimed at accelerating the impact of Konza Technopolis by 2025. This second strategic plan is envisioned to propel KT to become an emerging global technopolis and innovation hub under the theme leveraging the gains so far made in infrastructure development and onboarding investors. Speaking during the launch of the second strategic plan in Nairobi, the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Joe Musheru, hailed the achievements that have been made over the last 5 years of the implementation of the flagship project, saying the project is moving in the right direction.
The second strategic plan builds on successes of the authority's first strategic plan, which was themed laying a foundation for an area of innovation contained in a smart city. We have been faithful to that. The strategic plan is the outcome of an extensive consultative process as outlined by the CEO. Our aim is to develop a thriving, sustainable smart city and a vibrant innovation ecosystem contributing to Kenya's knowledge economy.
We are really looking and saying, what are these important things in the next strategic plan that we must address as we start 2021 to 2025? Through the engagement with the various stakeholders, we identified the things that we must address. One of them is to accelerate investor attraction and onboarding within Konza Technopolis. So this is one of the key and must do for us in the next 5 years. The second one is to ensure we develop a vibrant and a thriving innovation ecosystem. And this will happen in partnership with several stakeholders. There are several agencies within the government and the Ministry of Industry and the Ministry of Education that are involved in also innovation.
First of all, this program that we have of Konza, this was started in President Kibaki's time. And I remember when we went, we were appointed into these positions by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. And, he asked, so what is the plan? Is this a program that we can actually build on and grow? And we said we can. And he said he will support us. And through Parliament and all the areas, we got the resources that we needed. But the Konza team still needed to implement and make it work. And it was great to see that they were able to do that. And where we stand today, Konza has made very serious strides in moving forward.
Moi University has identified apple farming as its go-to activity to raise funds to supplement the exchequer funding. The university said apart from generating income for the institution, the apple farming will also provide part of a solution to the apple needs of the country. Speaking after a 4-day workshop in Mombasa, the Moi University Council Chair, Professor Humphrey Kimani Njuguna, said they'll engage in apple farming on 1,000 acres of land. Kimani said universities have to identify alternative income generation activities to help finance their programs.
All our public universities are going through very serious financial challenges because of the dwindling fortunes of the various income generation activities that the universities were used to, like what we call the parallel program. Since 2015, the parallel programs, as it were, kind of collapsed. And that was financing the universities by about 50%. So what most of the universities are left with is the financing from the exchequer, which has also been dwindling and made worse by other extraneous factors like the COVID-19 challenges and so on. So we have agreed as one of the way forward is that more university we shall engage in income generation activities to cater for this gap. And one of the activities that we are already involved in is the apple farming. When I talk about the apple farming, I know a lot of Kenyans might not know or might not be aware that we import about 95% of our apple needs in this country. And Moi University is pioneering apple farming. We are growing the Wabogo apple variety. And we welcome Kenyans to our farm because our target is to grow about 1,000 acres. And 1 acre is supposed to give us about 79 million. If you multiply by 1,000 acres, 79 million, that should give you about 8 billion in 4 years' time. It might sound like we are out of this world, but we have done our due diligence. And even if you minus the expenditures and so on, and other costs, even if you do your 40 billion in 4 years' time, then you can see what we are talking about.
Some sports news now. Baldev Chaga has dedicated his KCB Ramisi Rally victory to teammate Trajveer Rai, who got injured during June's WRC Safari Rally. Navigated by Ravi Soni in a VW Polo R5, Chaga swept the ground with all-round sundry to secure his second win of the season. Carl Flash Tundo came second in his Mitsubishi Evolution X, followed by Jasmeet Shana in a similar machine. Akif Virani in a Skoda Fabia R5 emerged the Division 1 winner in 4th overall position. The all-ladies crew of Maxine Wahome and Lynette Ayuko emerged the Division 2 winners in a career-best 7th spot. Chaga was all smiles after victory.
For us, it's been perfect. I believe we have won, so that's really good. It's been a fantastic day. Just one problem with the drive shaft in one stage where we lost some time. Apart from that, it's been fantastic. The team's been good, the car's been good. Happy to, well, we can't get better, can you, than a first position, so here we are. The competition we had was from our teammate Carl Tunda in the top fry car, the Evo 10. And then we had Karan Patel earlier in the day, but I think he had some mechanical issues and retired. We take in good vibes. It's been a good event for us. It's our team needed this, especially since we've become quite a smaller team now, since Onkar and Tejveer are not participating at the moment. So it was a nice morale booster for our team.
Yeah, it was good. I came here to do a job and get on the podium and get some points for the championship, which I've done. So yeah, it's all good. We go get ready for the next one. The Karan dropped out. Baldy and I have fought all day. But we wanted to finish to make sure we got points.
Well, that's where we end our broadcast tonight on Newswatch. Thank you so much for keeping us company. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. I'm Tonio Mondi. Our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. I'll leave you with the other focus for tomorrow. Have a good night.